Hi guys. Hey guys. Hi guys. Welcome back. It's the Red
and Blue and Blue review. Are you gonna start it?
I did start.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
you were doing this summer.
Are we starting?
Yes.
Split that out.
Okay. Hi. So today we are analyzing the film of Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, the Shawshank Redemption, a film directed by Frank Darabont, based on a short story written by Stephen King. Shawshank Redemption is a story about how Andy Dufresne, a man who is falsely accused of his wife's murder, is convicted to 2 life terms at Shawshank Redemption. And there he meets Red, who is the guy who can get you anything in prison, and they build a very beautiful friendship, and a friendship that ends up turning Red from a hopeless, institutionalized man to a hopeful, free man. Beatty, what kind of translation do you think this film
I
is?
would say it is a literal translation. The film stayed very true to the text. They changed very minute things, like they changed Red from being Irish to Morgan Freeman, which was a good choice because of the voiceovers, and everyone knows Morgan Freeman's voice is beautiful.
And they actually reference that in the scene right here that we're going to show.
Yeah.
Through the power of editing.
Why do they call you that?
Maybe it's because I'm Irish.
Awesome. So I agree. I think it's a literal translation. I think this is really explored in how the attention to the minute details of the film. You can see this in just the relationship that Andy and Red have, and how well it's acted, and how dedicated it is to the source material. Like in the scene where Andy realizes that there's a possibility he can get out of prison, but the warden won't have it. And him and Red have a dialogue that is verbatim right from the short story, and the acting in this scene is incredible, and we're going to show that right now.
You think you'll ever get out of here?
Me? Yeah. One day, when I got a long white beard and 2 or 3 marbles rolling around upstairs, they let me out.
I'll tell you where I'd go. Zihuatanejo Hill.
So, what?
Zihuatanejo Hill. It's in Mexico. A little place on the Pacific Ocean. You know what the Mexicans say about the Pacific?
No.
They say it has no memory. That's where I want to live the rest of my life. A warm place with no memory. Open up a little hotel right on the beach.
So, cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography.
Yeah, moving on.
So, we're going to first talk about lighting. I believe the lighting choices in the film were very, very well done. I think that how most of the lighting is through windows. There's not many artificial lights used. There aren't many light bulbs that you see and other things like that. Most of the lighting is projected through windows as if it's coming from the sun, and I think that symbolized that the light of life, that freedom is always outside the prison walls, that the sun is always shining in, and that there's no light in the dark and dreary place that is Shawshank. And he gets sent into solitary, and he's explaining how music is the only thing that they can't take away from you. And if you notice, the lighting in that scene is coming through the window of the mess hall onto his face, lighting up his face as he's telling it. Even though it's a dark and dreary color palette, I think that it really shows how the light of life, like I said, is coming through into the prison.
Okay, so I noticed for the lighting, what they often did many times was it was very dark in the darkest times for Andy's life in prison, and then the moments which were lighter and brighter were like the happier scenes, like when he was being attacked by the sisters, all those scenes were very dark, very whatever. And then it gets really light and bright as soon as the job opportunity opens up to go do the roofing. And you can see that
even the sunlight in that scene throughout, like all of the scenes, it's all, you know, dark colors, and then the sun is like golden and it's illuminating everything. Yeah. So the next thing we have on the list is color palette. And we actually disagree on this.
I thought the color palette was perfect. Prison is a dreary place, nothing changes, no one's unique. It's a very monotone place, so the colors should represent that, and I think the film did that well. No one was individual because that's how prison life is, and I think the film wanted the audience to really be there in prison with them.
Yeah, and you even reflected on how Red was talking about that in a scene, which we'll show right now.
Yeah.
Things went on like that for a while. Prison life consists of routine, and then more routine.
Everything is routine, just like he says, so the colors should all just be the same. Like, I thought it was good. I thought it was, well...
I somewhat agree with you. I think that the dark color palette is good in small doses, because ultimately it's a film. It's meant for entertainment. And it's meant to be visually appealing to the audience. Now, if you have a gray color palette and a color palette that involves a lot of dark blues, the audience gets tired of that after a while. They like diversity in a film. And though it shows the sedentary lifestyle and the unchangedness, I guess, of prison, I think that if they're going to do that, they need to have even greater contrast in the emotional scenes. You know, similar to the scene where they're drinking beer on the roof.
The colossal prick even managed to sound magnanimous. We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men. Hell, we could have been tarring the roof of one of our own houses. We were the lords of all creation.
There's a lot of golds, lots of yellows and oranges. And I think they did that scene really well to show, you know, an emotional uplifting of the characters.
I think they also showed how free they were in that scene almost.
Yeah.
I think that those colors represented freedom there.
Yeah, and also in the scene where Andy plays the opera music when he's in the warden's office, there's lots of yellow. And the point of me saying all of this is that I think that the dark blues and grays in the movie aren't as representative of Andy's hopefulness. And I think that though the state of the prison is gray and blue and drab, I think that it would have been more symbolic if they showed the scenes before when Andy started planning his escapes as dark and gray, and then the scenes after that being of a lighter color to indicate to the audience that something's changed. I think that the camera work in terms of the characters were very well done. Like with the warden, every scene in which you see the warden, the camera's always facing him. You never see a profile shot or a behind-the-head shot of the warden. You very rarely see that. And it's almost uncomfortable in those scenes because it's almost like he's looking like right at the camera. And I think that's supposed to show the authority of the warden and how he's always, whenever he's in a scene, he's always being paid attention to. He's always center stage. But with Andy, it's usually a side shot or a somewhat of a profile shot. And, you know, it kind of shows the power dynamic between the warden and Andy.
So, another thing that the director used a lot was they would film scenes from like an interior, if that makes sense, like in doorways, through windows. And when Andy first gets to the prison, he's getting off of the bus and all he sees is through the window of all these like guys just like chanting, and it's because it's through the window you feel the enclosement and you feel just as trapped now as Andy is about to be.
So another topic that we're covering is the character development between Andy and Red. I had Andy, and
I had Red.
yeah, BD had Red.
Yes.
So with Andy, he is a static character throughout the entire film. There's never really a point where his character changes or encounters some kind of revelation that makes him change his way of thinking. This is especially seen in the scene where Tommy screams at him and yells at him after taking the test, which we'll throw up here.
Time. Well?
Well, it's for shit. Wasted a whole fucking year of my time with this bullshit.
It's probably not as bad as you think.
Yeah, it's worse. I didn't get a fucking thing right. Might as well have been in Chinese.
Let's see how the score comes out.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how the goddamn score comes out. 2 points right there. There's your goddamn score. Goddamn cats crawling up trees. 5 times 5 is 25. Fuck this place! Fuck it!
Andy is stoic the entire time, no emotion. And I think that's really telling of his character and how throughout the entire time he's at Shawshank, he never changes himself despite the stressful situations that he finds himself in. Red, though, is very different.
Yes. The best way you can see how Red changes is through the first hearing versus the second hearing, which the first one is at the beginning, the second one is at the end, and it shows how Andy's changed him. At the beginning, he said what everyone wanted him to say, what everyone expected.
We see by your file you've served 20 years of a life sentence.
Yes, sir.
You feel you've been rehabilitated?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I mean, I learned my lesson. I can honestly say that I'm a changed man. I'm no longer a danger to society. That's God's honest truth.
And by the second one, he knew what it was like to live.
You feel you've been rehabilitated?
Rehabilitated? Well, now, let me see. You know, I don't have any idea what that means.
Well, it means you're ready to rejoin society.
I know what you think it means, Sonny. To me, it's just a made-up word. A politician's word, so that young fellas like yourself can wear a suit and a tie and have a job.
So you can really see the difference in his character from the first and the second scene, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, how at the beginning he was feeding the board just a bunch of lines that they wanted to hear.
Yes.
And by the end, he was fed up.
Hi guys, alright, now for the ratings. So the rating system is based off of 5 colors. Red corresponds with the number 1, orange is 2, yellow is 3, green is 4, and blue is 5.
Yep.
So I gave Shawshank a green, which is a 4. And I gave it this because the movie is not perfect. I mean, I honestly don't think anything's perfect, but...
Well, you sure aren't. Oh! Got him. Okay.
But that's why I gave it a green, because I think there were some things they could have changed, some things could have been done different. So that's why I gave it a green.
I think that it's a blue. I think that on a storytelling level, this film did very, very well. I think on a cinematic level, on a cinematography kind of approach, I think this film did fantastic. Thank you for watching the Red and Blue review. Next week, we're going to be doing Ready Player One. Hey, we're filming. Thank you, Miss Carrie Schlatt. we're gonna edit that out because that was a weird thing. Okay, well that's almost exactly 3 minutes. So wait. We'll wait till my dad comes in.
Yeah. So the rating system is based off. So the rating system is.
Wait, is it still recording? You do it.